And a very good afternoon, everyone. Jeremy here, quantstrategic.com.sg with market recap for the Straits Times Index, trading week ending the 14th of May 2021. So, wow, the restrictions and returning back to phase two gave a pounding to Straits Times Index stocks, and essentially the Straits Times Index closed at 3055, the trading week ending 14th of May 2021. So we have a monthly candlestick that is looking pretty bearish, and what is more significant is that the monthly candlestick has closed below the SSSB line on this Ichimoku cloud formation, all right, and pointing to more corrective down movements towards the initial support here, which is at 2813. If the correction goes deeper, then the pivot support here at 2613 might be tested. All right, so the super trend line is one thing that you can look out for because it was breached here to the upside, and if it breaches here, it can move on to the downside. So that's how you use the super trend line. And number two, for the Ichimoku cloud, all right, you want when the Straits Times Index trades below the Ichimoku cloud area, it turns bearish. Now, moving on to the weekly charts, all right, you can actually see what is actually happening. The uptrend for the Straits Times Index is still valid, okay? The long signal that was issued at 2693 on the 7th of November 2020 last year, targeting 3406, is still valid. However, last week's trading action was a little bit different because this particular candlestick broke through 3142, which is the Tenkan support or the fast moving average of the Ichimoku cloud. That's number one. So there's a little bit of concern there. However, the good news is that the pivot point at 3024, which I've always mentioned in my blogs, quantstrategic.com.sg, has held. All right, so this is important to watch for next week to see whether prices breaks this 3024 to the downside. That's number one. Or it actually bounces off, breaks above, and resumes its trajectory above the Tenkan fast-moving support at 3142 and carries on to test 3406 as targeted by our medium-term trend. All right, so this is very important. We close exactly at the pivot of 3024 at the lows, okay? So we want to watch and see whether the price action breaches it or bounces above or breaks this weekly super trend as we move down the week. Now, more details or more visibility can be seen on the dailies chart. So this is the day chart of the STI, which I guess most of you will be referring to in your individual stocks as you trade the Straits Times Index stocks. And you've noticed the Straits Times Index pretty much in three phases. Okay, we had a corrective dip from the pandemic last year, and we had two very positive buy signals on the dailies chart. One was on the 4th of November 2020, giving you a very nice 400-point profit from this particular signal, remained on an uptrend till it broke the trend on the 28th of January this year, corrected a little bit, and a second long signal at 2964 on the 25th of Feb, targeting 3406. We peaked at around 3,200 points, and as of now, we are currently under a short corrective signal. Now, what is important to watch for the daily chart is number one. First thing is that you want to see price action maintain above this Ichimoku cloud line. All right, so you want to see some kind of bounce from here to push back above the pivot of 3192 and continue its uptrend. That's number one. And number two, you would like to actually see the Straits Times Index not violating the SSSB line Otherwise, this might happen. All right, it breaks the SSB line and it starts to trade below the Ichimoku cloud, confirming this bullish move to test much lower levels on the STI. All right, so the short signal was already issued at 3158 on the 5th of May, 2 weeks ago, targeting 3024, and we tested exactly at 3024, and we have closed at 3055 for last week. So for the dailies chart, a very simple visual for you to see is that if price starts to trade below the Ichimoku cloud, you know we're starting a new bullish or bearish trend, and it will be supported by the weekly break of the pivot point as well. Same picture, bearish looking chart on the 4-hourly. The short signal was issued at 3199 on the 3rd of May, targeting 3024. We did hit that 3024 level, and let's see what happens. The first thing that the STI needs to do to maintain its composure is to break above this pivot at 3165 and then bounce above. Otherwise, if we maintain the trade below this region, if you notice, we are now below the Ichimoku cloud on the 4-hourly. Doesn't look very good on the short term, and I do see weakness ahead for the next couple of days and weeks. All right, guys, so in summary, in the longer term charts, the STI now seems to be struggling, mainly because of a close below the Ichimoku cloud. That's number one for the longer term monthly charts. This particular uptrend is at a pause for now. On the weekly basis, very, very important level to watch at 3024. We cannot break 3024, otherwise we may test 2813 or a pivot at 2613. On the dailies chart, we already had a short signal 2 weeks ago, way in advance, targeting 3024. That is in progress. We do not want to see price breach the Ichimoku Cloud SSSB line. Otherwise, you'll see more weaknesses on the short-term charts. And most importantly, end state, we do not want to break 3024. All these levels will be on quantstrategic.com.sg under the Straits Times Index, where you have levels to meet and expect. And I also attached my updated STI metrics, where you can see the weaknesses in the banks, in the REITs, in the property sectors, so on and so forth. All right, guys, so feel free to contact me, leave your comments, put a thumbs up if you find it meaningful, and subscribe if you find the knowledge is meaningful and helps you in your investment decisions. Thanks very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.